All right, let's get into the ACC. That's why we're here. We're going to go through each team and kind of discuss what their pros are, what their cons are, discuss whether we think they're going to go over or under their win total. We're using FanDuel's win totals as of August 18th. And first off, we're going to start with Boston College. How do you feel about this team, Chase?
All right, so Boston College, they got them at 5.5 with the under. I'm taking that under right there because I just don't think that they can get through Clemson at Louisville, Notre Dame, SMU, and Georgia Tech in 6 weeks and get that six win. I do have them starting 3-1. I just don't see like any other feasible wins. Like that is scary to end the year and then at Syracuse the last week of the season. Why is there bye week, week 13? That doesn't make any sense. I've never seen a bye week that late, I don't think, but what you got?
Like the week before the last game,
Yeah, the week
I would
before the last
assume
game.
that's 13. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that either. All right, so you're going under on BC. I actually like the over. I really like Bill O'Brien. I actually watched a good amount of BC games last year. Virginia Tech killed them in the first half. It was over, but I watched a lot of their other games. I think I had a lot of money on their games. But they went 7-6 last year, and I think they can replicate it. They lost Thomas Castellanos, I think they pronounce it Castellanos, and like don't do the Hispanic thing with the
Interesting.
L,
Yeah.
which is strange. But he's at Florida State now. They're going with Dylan Lonigan, a redshirt sophomore. All right. Next up, we're going to go in alphabetical order here. We have the University of Cal, a 5.5 win total. How you feel about that team?
All right. Well, we'll just say like Ron Rivera to start. I mean, I have the under on this. I do think they get to 5 wins, but I don't see them getting that sixth win on the schedule. I think Oregon State is a loss. And then even that Minnesota game, those aren't easy non-conference. Even San Diego State the week after is going to be tough to win on the road. And then to end the season with SMU, they have Stanford as well. Like I see them getting to 5 wins. They're going to have to find a way to win one out of two, I think, between UVA and VT back-to-back weeks. So that'll be that sixth
Mhm.
win. I just don't see it happening.
I'm on the same page with you here. I've also got the under. Five consecutive losing seasons for Cal. Justin Wilcox, their coach, is in year nine. That kind of surprised me. He's been around that long. But their QB one, running back one, and tight end one all transferred. They thought Devin Brown, or everyone thought Devin Brown from Ohio State would be the starter, but apparently the former five-star, I believe, number one quarterback in the class a few years ago just cannot do anything. So they're going with Jaron Kenwe Sagapalutele. No shot I was even close to right on
Wow,
that,
man.
but he's a true freshman from Hawaii. I think Cal's gonna be fighting an uphill battle here. Their schedule is reasonable, but I can't see him getting to six.
Weren't they like 4-0 last year having game day with Miami and then they were up like 21 and they lost? Was that last
Yeah,
year?
they choked. They hosted Miami in that like late night weird game that
Yeah.
I don't think they were up 21, but I think they were up like two scores late and blew it. Okay, so we both got under on Cal. We'll keep moving along here with easily the projected favorite and certainly a national championship contender, the Clemson Tigers. What you got for them?
So when I was going through the schedule, I mean, it's hard not to see this team getting 11 wins or 12 wins. Everyone's saying Cade is going to be the number one overall pick. I'm not 100% bought into it yet, but I do think they win the Death Valley Bowl week one against LSU. And I don't really see any other games that they would lose until they get to SMU. I just don't know if we can buy into the hype because last year they were 9-3 on the season, and then this year they definitely have a tougher schedule with Louisville. They always have South Carolina, but if they can win that LSU week one game, I don't see how they don't ride that train the rest of the season and finish like 11-1 or even undefeated.
Mm-hmm. So you're going over 10 and a
Yeah,
half on
I'm going
Clemson.
over on this one.
All right. This is a weird team for me because I do think they're national championship contenders. I think they have three of the top 10 players in college football, but I got under 10 and a half. And I kind of think they beat LSU too at home. But the way I'm kind of seeing this season is you got at South Carolina and versus LSU, two really good SEC teams, and I think they're going to split those. So then you have to go perfect. You got to run through the ACC, and feels like Clemson usually runs into a weird road game. They don't play Pitt this year, but like it could be Pitt. They play at Georgia Tech, they play at UNC, and they play at Louisville. Those are three road games that I could see them slipping up in. I feel like they go 10-2 and they win the ACC and they make some noise in the playoff. But I'm gonna go under. They've got a lot of talent there in Clemson right now.
Yeah, I just don't think they have many free wins. Like, what do they have? Troy and then Furman. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing a lot of hype about their freshman running back, and they return, I'm pretty sure, their top three wide receivers from last year, led by Antonio
Yep.
Williams. But I don't know. I'm expecting a lot from this team. Everyone's riding their hype right now, but we'll see. They got a lot to live up to this year.
They got 16 returning starters, which is the most in the ACC. So they were a decent team last year, but they definitely should take a step up. All right, on to the Duke Blue Devils, led by Manny Diaz. How do you feel about Duke?
All right, so this is easily my favorite over bet out of all the teams. I think they can
Okay.
win 9 games. I think it's disrespectful to have them at 6.5. They've won 7 games, 3 straight years. I think they can get to 9, even 10. They got the number one player in the transfer portal, and they play his own team, Tulane, on the road week 3. I don't know if that Illinois game,
Arian Mensa's number one
yeah,
transfer.
yeah, the number one transfer. Um,
Okay.
if they can somehow find a way to beat Illinois, which I don't think they do, then I think they're easily 6-0. Then they got Georgia Tech, but then they go at Clemson, which is going to be tough. And then they have a very easy schedule, I think, to end the year with UConn, UVA at UNC's rivalry game. I don't know if that's a guaranteed dub, but Wake should be a dub. I see like 6 easy wins for them here. I'd be shocked if they didn't hit that over, and that's why it's my favorite bet.
Okay. I like this one. I'm on the same page with you. I hate that university, but I'm also going over 6.5. Good transfer quarterback. You got four returning offensive linemen, a good running back room, not as good of a receiving core, but I think with an athletic quarterback, you can kind of make up for that. And yeah, I think their schedule's pretty reasonable. You got to think Elon at UConn versus Wake and sorry, but versus UVA should be wins. And then you got to find three against Illinois, at Tulane, NC State, Syracuse. There's really just one game that you're going to count them out in, and it's at Clemson. So you have 11 winnable games there. And I agree. I don't think they'll win nine, but I think they will win 7 or 8. I think
Like they
they'll
might be favorites in 11 out of 12, depending on how the season goes. I don't like Illinois, they might be a dog week 2, but
Yeah, no, I'm looking at it, and I don't think anyone other than Clemson would be more than like a 3-point favorite. There's quite a few like toss ups in there, but yeah, no, I totally see what you're
I could see
saying.
that trap game going into Clemson for Clemson after Duke's bye week. They could be high if they beat Georgia Tech, beat Illinois. They could be
They're
7
not
and
going into they're not going into Clemson and
0.
winning
No,
that
not
game.
next year.
I don't think so. I have that game for Clemson listed as like the one of the must wins, one of the 6, 7 easier games. Like I can't see that one, but that's why you play the games. All right, we're both high on Duke. Look for that over 6.5 bet. There might be some value there. Florida State, win total of 7.5. Where are we at on the Seminoles?
I have them just under. I don't know why we're expecting them to be so much better this year than they were last year when they went was it 2-10. Um, I do think they
Yep.
start off 2-1. I mean, if they upset Bama, then they're hitting this over. But I mean, that schedule is tough. They have Miami. at Clemson, at Florida. I don't think UVA on the road is an easy dub, and I don't think Virginia Tech is an easy dub either. Um, I mean, they'll beat Stanford on the road, but other than that, I think it's going to be tough to get over 7 wins this season.
Okay. I'm gonna take the over on Florida State, but I
Damn.
think they're definitely one of the biggest variance teams. You can see their season going a lot of different ways here. Year six for Mike Norvell, a lot of good, a lot of bad, more recently bad. But they got new coordinators. Gus Malzahn is the offensive coordinator for Florida State now, and they got Tommy White from Nebraska, D-cord. And like I mentioned, BC lost Tommy Castellanos, so that's their new quarterback.
They
I
don't
just
play
feel
this
like
year.
they turn it around enough. Um, you mentioned that Alabama game. I think they could shock Alabama, and if they do that, then they're springboarded right into the playoff conversation. And even if they don't, there's still a good amount of winnable games there. Um, and here's the thing for Florida State. Mike Norvell's buyout still 56 million at they if they fire him at the end of this year. I guess he probably got the huge contract extension after the what should have been playoff year, debatably. But I think Florida State's married to Mike Norvell for a long time, so they better get this back on track fast. But I'm going to take the over. I believe in them to get to 8-4. So I'm a lot higher on Florida State than you are. We'll now move on to quite a hot topic for this offseason. A lot of different takes on this team. Where are we at on Georgia Tech?
So I have them at over 7.5 is kind of a lot, but I'm pretty like sold after seeing them play against Georgia last season, the last week. Um, I don't know if that week one is a easy win at Boulder, but they have kind of a tough schedule. Like, I don't think VT is a free win. Clemson's most likely a loss week three at home. That would be a crazy upset. And they have at Duke, and then Georgia at the end of the year. That's a lot of tough games that they won't be favorites in, but I think they get to 8 wins here. I mean, I could see them running the table and ending up at 9-3, maybe even 10-2 if they can squeeze out a Clemson or Georgia win. But I love their offense, so
Okay. Yeah, Georgia Tech's been a weird team for me. Like a couple months ago, I was like, I think this is a playoff team. And then I kind of dug into it a little more, was a lot lower on them. But now I'm back on the Georgia Tech train. I'm also going to go over 7.5. It's kind of a so Haynes King is a great quarterback. He was battling through a lot of injuries last year and still managed to be pretty productive. They've got an all ACC running back in Jamal Haynes. So really good quarterback running back duo. They got Malik Rutherford, who's a really good receiver, but they lost one of their best guys, Eric Singleton, to Auburn. Point is, I think their offense is going to be really strong, and I think Brent Key's going to do a good job with them. But I'm very worried about the defense. Only four returning starters, new defensive coordinator. Georgia Tech historically, well, maybe not historically, but it feels like lately just really can't get off the field. So they're gonna have to outscore some teams. And yeah, you mentioned Clemson, Georgia. It's gonna be hard to win those two. So gotta think they'd have to go 8-2 in the other 10 they've got.
yeah. The road schedule is kind of tough. Like at Duke, NC State, and Boston College. I mean, they should be
Mm-hmm.
favorites in two of those, but it's definitely not the easiest schedule. Um,
Yeah, that at Colorado game's gonna be a big one for the conference. And then who plays Michigan State again? That the team we just mentioned, I think in
was it
week one.
BC?
It was yes, it was. Big so those are two big true road games for ACC teams. All right. So I guess we're both buying stock on Georgia Tech. Year three for Jeff Brom at Louisville. Where we stand on the Cardinals.
I'm taking the under 8.5 on this one. I think they get to 8-4. I mean, they should be probably 5-0 to start the season, but then they got to go at Miami, which is going to be tough Friday night. And then they got at Virginia Tech 2 weeks later, and then they have to end the year Clemson at SMU, and then Kentucky. I mean, I think they get to 8 wins. Um, this is a tough one for me. I'm not too hyped into Miller Moss. I just don't know if they can like get too many wins in that back half, but I do think they start 5-0, so I think 9 is very doable.
Okay. Yeah. This was a tough one for me to pick as well, but I'm also going to take the under. I do like Miller Moss. I didn't watch a ton of USC last year, but from what I did see, he seems like a really composed, good leader. So I like that, but around him, it's a really big transfer team, only 8 returning starters, a lot going in, a lot going out. And so when that happens, I think you have to kind of defer to the coaching when the roster is such an unknown. And Jeff Brom's not a bad coach, but I don't think he's a 9-3 in the ACC coach right now. You mentioned that Miami could be on upset alert earlier at FSU. Or no, you mentioned Miami's going to handle FSU comfortably. So does that mean you're high on Miami?
Hey, I don't know. I'm not high on Carson Beck. Um, I think I think they go 8-4, so I have them under 9.5 here. I think they lose their three top wide receivers. But I'm hearing their O-line is supposed to be very solid, so I think they're going to be more of a run-heavy team this year. But I think you just like look at that schedule and just, I mean, Notre Dame to start the year, and then Florida 3 weeks later, Florida State. I mean, like you said, that's not a complete easy win, but I still think they win that one. But then they have Louisville at SMU later, at Virginia Tech, and I think you guys get revenge on them from last year. I think they get to 8 wins. I just don't, or maybe even 9 wins. I don't think they get to 10 though this year. I'm just not bought into their team and their culture.
Seems like you're kind of high on VT. We'll find out later, but a couple
Yeah, I'm decently
shots
high
for
on you
us.
guys.
All right, we'll save it. We'll save it. But yeah, year 4 for Mario Cristobal, Carson Beck. I think he can be good. It's a question of is he won over the locker room? You mentioned they're going to have a good offensive line and more of a running team. That's my understanding as well because they are replacing their top 5 receivers. Hard to think their offense will be as good as last year. I think it might have been the best offense in the country statistically. So offense, even if Carson Beck does well, you got to think steps it down a little bit. But they have a new defensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator from Minnesota, who had the number 5 defense last year. So you got some new faces on the defensive roster. Maybe he can do something and kind of the offense takes a little step back and the defense takes a big jump. That's the route to the playoff for Miami. But I agree, the schedule isn't favorable. I think the timing of the schedule is the biggest issue because their last 2 games, you got to go up to Blacksburg in the cold in November, and you got to go at Pitt the last week. It's hard to imagine that the team from South Florida is going to go win those last 2 games in the cold when you're banged up late in the year. So
Did they lose the
I'm
pit
going to
last
go
year?
under 9.5 as well. They lost to Syracuse in the
The last week
last
of
or
the
second to
season?
last week.
They
I
were up
think last
21 the
week.
last week of the
Yeah.
season.
Like,
That was Syracuse. Yeah, I mean, Carson Beck isn't the number
yeah,
one overall pick Cam Ward, and I feel like he saved them multiple times throughout the season, like including the Hail Mary that
she
I don't
did.
think was actually a touchdown. So what were they 10-2 last year? I don't think they get back to that. So I'm gonna stick strong with the under here.
Yeah, if their defense isn't significantly better, they might be a 500 team. I don't think that's crazy to say,
Yeah.
but they have talent. We'll see. Big year for Mario Cristobal here for sure,
And Carson Beck.
and Carson Beck. Big time money situation for Well, actually, not really that because what did he get? 8 mil to go to Miami. So even if he does
Yeah.
screw it up and doesn't do anything in the league, as long as he invests right, he should be okay. All right, on to the hottest topic in the ACC, undoubtedly in this offseason. The husband, soon to be husband of Jordan Hudson, Bill Belichick running the UNC Tar Heels. How do you think that drama goes?
Wait, is it not actually pronounced Jordan, or does PMT just call her Jordan?
I think it's Jordan. Did I
Okay.
say Jordan?
Yeah, you said Jordan. They always say
I think
Jordan,
it is
but
Jordan.
they got they got to be trolling because I've never heard that pronounced like that before. I mean,
I,
I'm believing in Bill though. He may be a little
I
bit
don't know.
distracted, but I think she might be good for him here as long as he's staying true to his job. I mean, I think they go over. They were solid last year. I don't think they beat TCU week one, but I think they easily handle Charlotte, Richmond, and then Central Florida. And they also have Stanford, Cal, UVA, and Wake. I feel like those are most likely for the bottom five, six teams. So I feel like they just have such high odds to be able to hit over 7.5 here. Like, was their toughest game the last half of the season after Clemson, home to Duke? That's a very winnable game. So I think they hit the over. I believe in Bill Belichick. I don't know too much about the roster going in, but I mean, I trust in Bill.
Trust in Bill. Undoubtedly have like one of the easiest schedules in the ACC. You're right about that. But I'm gonna go under 7.5. I don't
Yeah.
know if I believe in this situation here. Only six returning starters. They obviously brought a lot in. Some good guys are gonna want to play for Bill Belichick. That's pretty enticing, but placing Amarion Hampton, that's a big loss. Defensive line's all gone. Gio Lopez should be the quarterback from South Alabama, and I think he should do a pretty good job. But I'm just worried if they lose week one against TCU at home in a game that I was kind of surprised to see they're 3.5 point dogs. Maybe TCU's kind of like that.
I hear they're back this
I'm not
year.
sure.
So,
You hear they're back. Okay. So
yeah.
the Big 12 and probably make a Big 12 podcast, but it kind of just seems like a big clusterfuck of like who knows. And TCU is certainly part of that mix. Um, but yeah, it's an easy schedule. I think they're gonna start slow, and I think it could get ugly. I think it could get ugly in Chapel Hill, and he better big. Okay, what record do you think they would have to go for them to fire Bill Belichick after year one?
I think like
Is it
3 and
possible? Is
9.
record
I think three and
three and
nine, you
nine?
might fire him. What was Mac Brown there 1 year, the previous year, right? He like stepped down and then he came back, or something. I don't remember
Yeah,
what
he
happened.
quit for like 12 hours.
Yeah, I don't know. I like this team has the biggest question marks. This is a rare one. I feel like we've been agreeing for like the last like five or six teams, but this one, I just don't know what to expect. I don't know if I believe in their quarterback. I know you said you kind of liked him, but I just I don't like it's an easy schedule. You gotta think that Bill can at least coach that defense and keep them like competitive in the majority of their games. Um,
Yeah,
I think it'll be fun though. Like maybe if him and Jordan break up, they go on a little winning streak. Maybe if they get married or something, or if he proposes, then they go on a little losing streak. I don't know. And he loses focus. I don't know. I mean this is probably the definition of a 6-6 team, but I kind of believe in Bill and Jordan right now. So.
I think Jordan dumping Bill and going for a different 70 plus year old. Can you imagine if that happened? The
Saban.
spark within Bill Belichick. He might take you, and it won't happen this year. There's not a damn thing in the world that could happen that North Carolina wins the national championship this year. But she breaks his heart. What's UNC doing in 2026? Might Who knows? The sky's the
Yeah.
limit. But yeah, either way, UNC is going to be a lot of fun this year to watch, whether it's good, whether it's bad. This is a really good story for college football and hopefully brings more attention to the ACC. On to their in-state rival, the NC State Wolfpack. 6-7 last year. Think they can get to 7 wins here?
Um, I mean, I was very surprised to see that. I have them going 4-8. I think there's a lot of question marks on the schedule. They have at Notre Dame, at Miami. Um, I feel like I'm definitely disrespecting them a little bit. Um, because like they could easily be 3-0 to start the season. I mean, they could beat Duke, they could beat VT at home, they can beat UVA and Wake on the road, and then Campbell. Like shit, I mean, they could be 6-0. But I don't believe in NC
Sounds
State.
like you're talking yourself into it.
I
Four and
know.
eight.
Like I'm looking at the beginning of the schedule now. Like I'm that's pretty easy going up into Notre Dame, but there's a lot of winnable games for them. I just don't know if they're going to be heavy favorites. I don't believe in Bailey um, to lead their offense, but I still think. I mean, I don't see them getting over 6. I just think they're 6-6 at best.
Okay. Another one we disagree on. I'm gonna take the over 6.5. Admittedly, did not watch a lot of NC State football last year, but I heard CJ Bailey showed a lot of promising signs. He's back as a sophomore. They have a really good tight end in Justin Jolly, their leading receiver from last year. He's
That's a fun
back.
name.
That's a fun name. Justin. It's not Justin Jolie, right? I think
I don't
it's
think so. I'm gonna call it Jolly for now until someone
yeah,
says
we're
it.
going with Jolly. Um, Year 13 for Dave Dorian. That's a hell of a long time at one school. And the way the schedule's not easy, but basically ECU at Wake, Campbell, those have to be 3 wins. At Notre Dame and at Miami, probably not going to happen. So you need to win four of UVA at home, Virginia Tech at home, at Duke, at Pitt, Georgia Tech, Florida State, UNC. Those are like 7 toss-up games. They got to go 4-3 in. And I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to be like a 7-5, 8-4 team and probably be set up really well for junior year of CJ Bailey if they can retain him, if they have the type of season they want to. So okay, we're definitely in disagreement about the Tar Heel state there.
Yeah,
How do you feel about Pittsburgh?
I think Pitt is also the definition of a 6-6 team right here. I mean, just like looking at their schedule, Duquesne should be a win, but then I don't even know about Central Michigan and West Virginia. I think they split those, and I think that I think they split almost every game here. I just think the last 3 weeks of the season are going to be tough. Notre Dame at Georgia Tech, and then Miami the last 3 weeks. I think those are all L's, but what are they at? Are they at 6.5 or 5.5? 6.5? Shit.
6.5.
Oof. I mean, I don't believe in Eli Holstein. I think they go 6-6 right here. I mean, they could. I mean, they'll beat Stanford, and they'll beat Duquesne. They should beat Central Michigan, and they should beat West Virginia. Like they'd only have to find 3 out of the next 7. But no, I got them at 6-6. I think it's gonna be hard to replace their 2 early round draft picks on the defensive line. So I just don't see them replicating that.
Okay, okay. All right, last three we have different takes on. I'm gonna take the over on Pitt. You're
Damn.
11 now for Pat Narduzzi. I think we might be forgetting how I know I forgot what happened with Pitt last year until I was doing some research. They were 7-0 last
Yeah,
year,
7 and
and they
0.
lost the last 6 games. Just a complete collapse, a lot of injuries, but they've got 14 guys back. They definitely lost a couple big players to the draft there, but 14 back on like a respectable team that got banged up kind of gives me some promise. I think Pat Narduzzi is a really good coach. I was low on Pitt until I started looking into it a little bit more. I think their schedule's pretty reasonable. Duquesne, Central Michigan, Boston College at Stanford. That's got to be 4 wins right there, and then you just got to find 3 more. Really, their second hardest game is, I guess, Miami at home, but that's in the last week of the season. Like I mentioned, I like how that sets up with the whole weather situation. So I think Pitt has a good year and goes 7-5, 8-4, kind of what they have been. Seems like the latter half of the Narduzzi era.
Yeah, I didn't realize he's been there for 12 years. Man. I didn't realize he was that
Yeah.
respectable as a coach, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, they're getting 6 wins. I don't know if they'll get that last one though. But like you said, they have a lot of winnable games. Nothing's too scary besides that Notre Dame Miami game.
Yep. Yep. All right. On to SMU. Made the ACC championship last year, made the college football playoff. Great season from Rhett Lashley in year 4. Is he going to replicate it to any extent?
I think so. I just don't think the ACC is too deep this year. Their schedule is definitely much harder than it was last year, which I think they'll regress a little bit, but I still see them going 9-3, maybe even 10-2. I have them losing to Baylor week 2 and losing to Clemson. But other than that, like they should beat Syracuse, they should beat Stanford, Wake, Boston College, Cal. I don't know if they'll beat Louisville, but I do think they'll be favorites in that game at home. And then at TCU is another interesting non-conference. I think that's a rivalry game as well, but I think they easily get the over on this. So, and I think they'll be one of the premier teams in the ACC for a while.
I'm going to disagree with you again.
Damn, okay.
Both for this year and in the long term. First of all, I think if they do have a really good year, Rhett Lashley is going to the SEC, and this little SMU era is not going to last that long, and they're going to fall to the bottom of the ACC, even if they do well. That's really pessimistic. I'm sorry if an SMU fan is listening to this, basically telling you you're screwed either way. But I think they're going to go under, and this is. I don't have a lot of like great points to back this up more than I cannot get the Kevin Jennings performance at Penn State out of my head at all. And I think the reason people like SMU is because of him. And I kind of see him as maybe more of like a middle tier ACC quarterback. They lost a lot of their receivers. They got Matthew Hibner back, who's a really good tight end out of Lake Braddock High School. I know his little brother plays with my stepbrother right now. He's a great player. He'll be their tight end one for sure. Um, yeah, this is just kind of a field pick. I can't see SMU doing it again. I cannot. Again, it's like not backed up by facts. Just hard to picture those like colors and just that team ripping off 9 wins again. So I'm going to take the under on SMU.
I don't think they've lost a conference game the last 2 years in the regular season. And the only other one was Clemson on the buzzer and the kick, to make the playoff. But I do think they regressed a little bit. I don't think they'll be in the playoff. I just don't think the ACC is that strong. Um, but I still think they get over. Like the
I,
schedule is
in
fairly.
in general, do you think the ACC is weaker than last year?
I think the top. I think there's a little bit more depth at top, but I think there's a big drop off after teams 5 and 6 in the conference.
I think it's going to be a smidge better, but I don't know. We haven't seen the ACC do it in a while. Hopefully, for both of our programs' sakes, it kind of turns around a little bit here.
I mean, yeah, a lot of it is relying, I think, on one of our programs to be better. But I don't know. I just
Yeah.
I just think there's a big drop
Um,
off at the end of the conference.
there's definitely a very weak bottom this year, and that's a perfect transition into Stanford. Um, win total of 3.5. Can they win 4 games?
No, I give them one game. They're not even favorites week 1 at
One?
like by you. They could beat UVA. Like they should beat San Jose State. That's the only one I see. But like they gotta go at SMU, at Miami, Notre Dame to end the season. They could beat Cal the second to last week, but I'm not. They're not getting 3 wins, or was it 4? They're not getting 4 wins this year.
They need 4. Okay. Even with Frank Reich, year 1, and
I was
Andrew
hearing that
Luck
he's only
at
going to be a
GM.
coach for 1 year there, so I don't know. Um,
Oh, is that true?
yeah, that's what I heard. So, um,
What does that mean? What?
I don't
They're
know.
hiring like an interim coach for
That's what they made it seem
one.
like. Wasn't there some like issue with their program last year as well? Um, Let me see.
Just being bad at football was kind of the only thing I remember. I feel like I might have heard this though. That now that you say it, it
Yeah,
sounds
he's an
familiar.
interim
That
coach. It's only a 1 year deal.
all right, that kills any like kind of juice.
And
You
he was hired
all
so late. Like he was hired in April of this year. So like that's just I don't
all
know.
right. So any Stanford people out there, listen, let us know what the deal is. You can't have an interim coach entering the year. Um, well, that makes me feel better about also taking the under. San Jose State's not bad. They're third in the Mountain West preseason poll.
Like they should be
Hawaii's
underdogs
seventh,
in that
and they're
game.
underdogs. They are underdogs. And yeah, so that Hawaii game's big, and that's fun that we get a week zero game that has some implications here. Because if they win it, then there's a good chance to get to four. But I feel like if they lose it, there's no way to get to four.
It's not happening. That's gonna be a late night game,
It's
right?
like if they're underdogs, and if they win it, I think they have like a 65% chance to get to four. But if they lose that game, it's like a 10%, I think. So that's why I'm gonna have to go with the under. They're just not spending money over there in California on sports, which is strange. They have so much of it. It's fucking Stanford.
They got
How are
Olympics.
they not? Why are they not paying football players?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure they win like every year for like beach volleyball. They got Kitty Ledecky. I'm pretty sure Scotty Scheffler went there as well. Um,
No, you're wrong about that one.
is
Scheffler went to Texas.
wait, who was the golfer that went? Um,
Only a ton of them. Scotty Scheffler might be like the only golfer I know where he went to
Wait,
college.
did Tiger Woods go to Stanford?
He kind of looks like a Stanford guy. I could
Yeah,
see
Tiger
him in
Woods.
those
Okay, I meant
colors.
Tiger
I
Woods. I knew it was a famous golfer, not Scotty.
So we're both seems like kind of a lost year for Stanford, but never know. On to a team that overperformed significantly last year, lost a lot of guys. Year two for Fran Brown at Syracuse. What are you thinking?
I was looking at this and then I just completely forgot that they won 10 games last year. I don't know how the hell they did that. Um I props them. I have them going 4-8 this year, so I'm taking the under. But just seeing the 10-3 last year, I feel like there's no way they regress that much, right? Like I don't know enough about this team. I know they've lost so many players. Um, I'm not gonna lie, like just looking at
Mhm.
week zero, I feel like there's such a or week one, there's such a small chance, but like could they pull off that upset against Tennessee, which has a lot of question marks as well? They could. That's in Atlanta, right? And you're going there?
Yep. That game will be in Atlanta, so should be like 75% Tennessee fans. I think it's possible. I'm not, as a Tennessee fan, I'm not chalking that up as a win yet.
Yeah.
So it
But
could.
that's just a tough start. Like Tennessee, Clemson, and then Duke and SMU within the first 6 weeks. That's not very favorable. So I'm taking the under, and they have Notre Dame and Miami at the end of the year. I just don't see that 6 win coming in.
Yep. Understandable. They had one of the harder schedules in the ACC last year. Or I'm sorry, they had one of the easier schedules in the ACC last year, and now it's one of the hardest. Yeah, only seven guys returning, a lot of turnover. You lost Kyle McCord, obviously, to the NFL. You lost to Quint Allen, a really good running back. Trevor Pena, who's going to be one of the starting receivers for Penn State now. They lost a lot. But I'm going to take the over. And this is kind of just another feel pick. Um, but I believe in Fran Brown. I think that Kyle McCord is a decent player, but I think he got more out of him than most coaches would, and I think he can potentially do the same with another veteran quarterback in Steve Angeli. He was going to be QB3 at Notre Dame, so he dipped out. He was a late transfer, um, but he's got a little bit of experience. He's played for Notre Dame in live action, and yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not counting my win for Tennessee over them, and I think they make a bowl game. I think the Orange have something here with Fran Brown. All right, it is time to discuss our teams. Um, Obviously, you will talk more about UVA, and I'll talk more about VT. You're four for Tony Elliott, right? Same as
Yeah.
Brent Pry, I believe. 5-7 last year. Easy schedule. What's the squad doing?
This has to be an over. I mean, like, there's no other schedule that you'd want if your job is on the line and you have to get 7 wins. I mean, last year we started off 5-1. We should be 4-0 this year with Coastal Carolina at NC State is a toss-up. Probably will lose that, but we should win that game. And then William and Mary and Stanford should also be wins. I don't know if we can beat Florida State, but we might be able to get it done on a Friday night. And then even the back half is like we have Washington State, Cal, Wake. It's probably going to come down to beating you guys at home. I think we can get it done this year. This is definitely the best squad we've had since Broncos left when you guys stormed our field. But he has to get it done. I think we have a new culture. We have new facilities. We have new donors. We might need one more year and a new coach, but I really think we get to 7 wins this year. Bronco never went under 500 in his 4 years there, so it's like Tony has to be able to get it done. Like I'd be shocked if we don't go like 7-5.
Okay, so how many wins does he need for you to want him to be back for year five, and how many wins do you think he needs for him actually to be back?
I think he needs 7. And then like even then, I think we have like 34 seniors. I think we had like 32 transfers come in this year. Our whole team's gonna be gone. I just like I mean this could easily implode losing to NC State. Like we could lose to Stanford, honestly. Like I'm just like I do think this is our best roster we've had in 4 years, so I'm fairly confident we get to 7 wins and he keeps his job at least one more year, but I mean it could get bad fast.
Yeah, I think 6-6, and he's gonna get another shot, but I'm not as close. It feels like coaches should get fired earlier than they usually do. I think if you guys go 6-6, it might be kind of a last little shot here.
It depends if we lose the
But yeah,
last week or not to you guys, honestly.
yeah, and just the vibe within the program, how you guys finish the year, especially against us, is going to be big. You mentioned that it should be the most talented team in a while. That's kind of what I've been reading as well. Brandon Walker has you guys as the ACC surprise team, and
Oh
Tony
shit.
Elliott winning coach of the year. I don't know if you saw that.
No, that'd be
Um,
crazy. There's no way. I mean,
he
I think
thinks you guys can win 9 games, and
our schedule is so easy.
it's
Like, it's doable.
it's it's an incredibly easy schedule coming at a good time for you guys. Um, Decent quarterback from North Texas, it appears. But is he like an upgrade over Calandria?
I think
Maybe, right?
so. I think he's going to be more like confident, less turnover prone. I think we're going to be a high scoring
Hmm.
offense. Like, and that's what I foresee. I don't really know if I believe in the defense. I'm pretty sure I saw that we have 9 new defensive backs and only like one returning from last year. So I'm a little concerned about that. But I think we're going to be a fun team to watch. Like, I think we're a dark horse, but it can get bad really quickly.
I don't know about a fun team to watch. You guys got to fill your stadium up if it's
I
going
think
to
we will
be
this year.
attractive to the. We'll see, man. I don't. But what you said about how it's probably going to come down to the VT game, and this is going to kind of spoil how I feel about Virginia Tech as well. But and both of our win totals are 6.5. We have pretty similar talent levels. We got year four coaches that haven't haven't done enough and are both on the hot seat. Feels like our programs are actually in very, very similar situations. And I think we enter that final week both 6-5, and the winner goes over and the loser just goes under. And I'm not going to pick against us until you guys start actually winning these games. I will say I am a lot more worried about the UVA game than I usually am entering the year. It's in Charlottesville, so that doesn't help. But yeah, I think you guys are going to be like 6-6, 7-5, right around that win total. I'll officially go with the under, but I'm a little worried. All right, so we discussed the nerds out of Charlottesville, UVA. Now we're going to talk the real men, the Virginia Tech Hokies. Um, I mentioned that I think we're also going to be 6-5 going into the UVA game. We have the least returning starters in the ACC, only five. Lost a lot of guys. Lost Tuden, who I think is going to be a great NFL running back, great Hokie. We lost our entire wide receiver room, top four guys, maybe even the top five. Antoine Powell Ryland's gone. We've lost maybe our best corner to LSU. Interior defensive line, a lot of pieces gone. So, long story short, we lost a lot, but we also gained a lot. Um, so it's another team that's hard to predict. When you have all this turnover, it's hard to say what's going to happen. But there's four games that I have as must wins. These are all home games. If we lose any of them, we're not getting to 7 wins, and Brent Pry should not be back. Old Dominion must win. Wofford must win. Wake must win. Cal must win. Four home games, gotta have them. And you gotta find three. So our hardest game is neutral site against South Carolina, which were 7.5 point dogs. It's winnable. And if we win this, we might be on track. It's happened in the past where we've started hot in the first couple games and then we lose to ODU. I don't think that would happen this year. Um, but big opportunity week one for the Hokies. We've got Vandy at home in week two, so if we can go 1-1, that would be all right for getting to 7 wins. I don't believe in Brent Pry. I'm taking the over, but I think it's going to be 6-6, 7-5. And I really, really hope if we go 6-6 that is not enough, or that is not enough for this athletic program to bring him back, and that we can go for a guy like Mike Vick if he does well at Norfolk State, or maybe a John Gruden. He said he wants to get back into coaching the SEC, but Virginia Tech, kind of SEC energy. I think that's possible. So, um, yeah, I think we have very similar talent composition, and I think we have very similar coaching staffs, and we'll see how it goes this year. But not optimistic.
Yeah. I somehow have it over here, but like if you guys start off 0-3, is Brent Pry gone after that loss to ODU?
Oh, if we lose the first two and then lose to ODU at home, he better be that moment.
Like, would that be two losses against them then? Or would that be the third loss against them in the last like 5 years,
So we
6 years?
lost to them in 2018 when we were ranked 13, and then we lost to them again a few years ago. So I think it might have been year one under Pry. It'd be his second ODU loss, but regardless, yeah, 0-3. I would hope they would fire him in that moment and we'd just punt on the year, but
Yeah, I mean the schedule's a little challenging. Like, I think you guys split to start the year, the two SEC schools. I mean, that's just like if you guys find a way to win both of those, I mean, you guys are hot going into ODU. Wofford should be 4-0. then I know you guys are all gonna be super hyped. But like even like the end of the year schedule is tough. Like I know you guys have a great like home field advantage, but Louisville isn't the easiest game, and then at Florida State, then Miami. Even like at us last year, like I just expect you guys to win that game, but like none of those are like what are you favorites in just the last game against us? Maybe depending on how the season goes, you'll have a slight point advantage over Miami or Louisville, but it's gonna be tough. I still think you guys get it done and get to 7-5. Um, but man, I mean, this could get bad fast. Like
It could.
0-2, like and then beating ODU and Wofford, then you guys have a little bit of momentum, but then NC State could just rip it right back from you. So it'll be interesting. I mean, like you said, I don't believe in pride. I mean, I think the program is dying a little bit. It needs a few years, but I mean, you guys should win three of the next four after the first two. So it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be up and down season for you guys. I mean, I feel like it's been like that for a while. Um, so yeah, we'll see.
We got to start hot, man. That do you think we'll be favorites at home against Vanderbilt?
I think so. I don't know who they play week one, but I don't know. I think you guys beat South Carolina and then lose to Vandy for some reason.
If we do,
Uh,
ugh, I don't even want to think about that, man. Yeah, that's enough about Virginia. I'm sure you guys will hear more about these two programs as the year unfolds. Wake Forest, 4-8 last year. New coach Dave Clawson finally retired. He had that mesh offense, which was really fun to watch, really unique style. They bring in a new coach, Jake Dickert from Washington State. You think they can get 5, 6 wins? Over under set at 4.5.
I think this under feels impossible. So I feel like I have to go over. I think they start off 2-0. I mean, I think NC State on a Thursday night at home, I think it's a toss up. Like if they start off 3-0, there's no way they don't get another two.
Mm-hmm.
But like even like Delaware, that's not an easy win, even though it's at home. Delaware is a decent school, first year in the FBS. I mean, SMU is going to be a loss. I mean, they could be Oregon State. They're probably not going to beat you guys on the road. I mean, but they could easily beat us. And like if you guys are starting off 0-3 and we're in shambles as well, like our season may be done by then. So they could I think they go over on this. If, like I said, it just feels impossible not to get 5 wins here.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Big transfer team, 35 guys coming in, 27 going out. 27 going. I know that's a +8, but 27 out. I mean, Desmond Claiborne, he was a 1,000-yard receiver last year with 11 touchdowns. He's back, so he's got a ball. He's got to go for like 1,500. Robbie Ashford is looking like he's going to be the quarterback one. He played for a couple SEC schools, never really did anything significant. But I'm going over as well. Basically because of the schedule, like you said, I think Kennesaw State, Western Carolina, and Delaware at home has to be, and I think will be 3 wins. And then you got to pick off two more to get to the over. I think the most realistic ones are NC State at home, Georgia Tech at home, at Oregon State. That's an interesting game, and then North Carolina at home. And they, the other ones as well. There's really their hardest game. I think is it at Duke?
I think so, right?
I mean,
Like,
it's an easy schedule, and
yeah, like maybe at you guys or at Florida State, like those all feel pretty equal right
well, at you guys
now.
as well. I mean, I guess we have a better home field, but like we just discussed, we're on the same tier here. So, um, yeah, I
Do you
think
know anything about Oregon State?
I don't know a damn thing about Oregon State.
Why do they have so many road games? 4 out of 5? I feel like that's a lot. Um,
I don't know. I don't have their schedule in order up. I just kind of wrote out the games. But yeah, I think I think Wake gets to 5 or 6 wins, and the start of the Jake Dickert era starts on a positive note.
I'm with that.
All right, so that's the ACC preview and our over/under predictions. I feel like we agreed on half and disagreed on half at this
I feel
point.
like we started off agreeing on a lot, and then there was that one run where it was
Yeah,
like 4 or 5 in a row, and the last few were kind of
yeah,
all pretty much in agreement. Like the only ones where I feel like we were completely off was like UNC and I think SMU. It seemed like we were like more like 2 or 3 games off from there
yeah,
on what we saw as their outcome.
yep, yep. I agree. Um, but yeah, unless there's anything else college football related you want to get into, we'll wrap it up here.
And we can get into week 0 while we have time on the Zoom if you want.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk a little week zero. You can pull the schedule up while I start talking about the big one. Farmageddon is what it's being coined.
The
I,
heck?
it's a. Have you not heard that?
No, is it a Dublin thing, I guess? Or
No, it's because they're both farm schools,
oh,
Iowa and
okay. That
Kansas, and
makes
I
sense.
guess the state schools are more farm based. I don't really get the Geddon part. Sounds like an apocalypse or something. But
Yeah. What
regardless,
was it last year? Florida State and
Florida State and
BC?
Georgia Tech, right?
Georgia Tech, yeah, Georgia Tech.
That was a fun one. That was definitely the best Dublin game we've got so far.
That was the only one, right? No?
Now we had Notre Dame Navy the year before,
Oh, I
boring,
didn't know that. All right.
and then there might have been another, maybe not. But this should be a good competitive football game. I don't know who's favorite, but I'm pretty damn sure it's within like 3, 4 points.
Yeah, Kansas State -3.
Kansas State -3. Both two good quarterbacks, Avery Johnson and
Johnson,
is it Rocco Becht? Is that how you say it?
yeah.
Um, don't know a ton about these teams, but good programs with good coaches, and it'll be nice to have a competitive football game to open the year. How do you feel about it being like a conference game played at a neutral site, in a different country, different continent?
Yeah. I mean, that's what they did last year. I think it's a little weird to start as a week 1 game or week 0, but I mean, at this point, it's they got to focus on it now. I mean, that could be a pivotal game going into it. I mean, they're both top 25, so I mean, there's a lot of weight with that game, and especially not knowing who's the clear favorite for the Big 12. When last year Arizona State was predicted to be what last, and
Yep,
they ended up winning.
yep.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. I just remember last year was high scoring out the gate, so I'm hoping for that to make it a fun first quarter, first half. But I'll unfortunately be missing most of this game. I'll try to catch the end of it. So
That sucks. I'll be on the workout bike. Same time as the Commanders Ravens preseason as well. Any Commanders fans out there, but we won't be playing any starters, probably not even any second string. So full eyes will be on that football game. I think there will be some points. And yeah, let's just hope we get a good one. The
yeah,
loser's definitely going to be in a big hole for sure. That's going to be a bad flight home. I wouldn't want my team playing in this situation. But what
then we
else
got
we got on the schedule?
the ACC Stanford at Hawaii, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Hawaii's -2.5
Yeah,
in Honolulu. Over under is 50.5. I mean, like you said, this will be big for the Stanford over under if they can get to 4 wins. Um,
gotta have it. Must win. Must win, and they're an underdog. That's why it's like, damn, this is setting up badly for them.
yeah,
But yeah, I read a little bit about this game. I think the key or the path to Stanford winning is kind of beating them up in the trenches, running the clock, um, just killing the game out. And Hawaii's got some more athletes, so they're gonna try to open it up a bit. But as ACC fans, I'll be cheering for Stanford. I don't know if you kind of hold that approach in fandom as well, but a situation like this, I'm going to cheer for the ACC team.
yeah. No, I think we have to. I feel like Stanford's definitely the weakest school in the ACC overall right now, unless you count Olympic sports. But I'm just like, I don't. Why did they join the ACC? Because they're a bad rep right now. So I mean, we can't start off by losing to Hawaii out of all schools. I don't know. Something about Hawaii just feels like you can't lose to them when you're an ACC school. So
Yeah, yeah, not a good look. And then what we have like one other decent game.
I wouldn't say decent. Like we have Idaho State at UNLV, and we got Fresno State at Kansas, which is the decent one, and then we got Sam Houston at the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. So Kansas is -13, Western Kentucky is -10, UNLV -24.5. I don't know if you've looked into any of those lines yet, but I mean Kansas, I've heard some hype going into this year with Jalen Daniels. I don't like how he sounds too similar to
Is
Jaden
that
Daniels.
what it is? Jalen Daniels?
Yeah, Jalen Daniels.
That I don't like that either. That
Yeah,
no one's gonna
no.
get his name right. Everyone's gonna fumble on that this year.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of slip ups for sure, but um I mean -13. I don't
You
know
can't
anything
be
about
happy about that if you're Jalen Daniels either. You're like, no one's gonna like care about me. Like,
that's why Josh Allen changed his name to Josh Hines Allen. So
is that true? I didn't. I do
yeah.
remember like him being Josh Hines Allen, but honestly, I never like connected the dots on that whatsoever.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. Um,
Um, but
yeah,
yeah, those are the
Kansas.
five.
Kansas will be interesting. I'm looking forward to going to a KU game. I believe it is Saturday, September 20th. Week 4, they host West Virginia, so I'll be in attendance there, hoping it's a good atmosphere. I know they played Missouri before that, so that's probably going to dictate a lot about how hyped up they'll be going into that West Virginia game. But yeah, I mean, 13-point favorites. You gotta get that one. But I don't think Fresno is any slouch. All right, so that will wrap it up for the ACC preview. Thank you guys for listening. If you made it this far, definitely a lot of stuff that Chase and I are going to iron out. Make sure that we can bring you guys the best content possible. But yeah, fun podcast one, and we'll talk to you soon, Chase.
All right, sounds good. I'll see you.
See ya.